And Tom, one of the sort of challenges, I guess, for technology companies in property is that some property companies don't feel the propulsion to act, do they? They sort of there's more comfortable with the status quo and potentially worried that if they do make a big investment, it could all go wrong for them. What do you sort of say to that, and how can that be kind of overcome?
Yeah, it's been really interesting in the last, because we've been doing this 5 or 6 years, so it's been really interesting to watch the shift in the last 12 to 24 months. And there has definitely been a shift because real estate, particularly commercial real estate, has been very stable, generally very risk-free. It's been the same for decades or centuries, really, and there hasn't been a lot of change in there. But in the last couple of years, there's been, and this is not just in the tech pages, this is in everyday business pages, it's reported on, things that are starting to make owners now a little bit more nervous than they've ever been. So something like WeWork coming in, and now lease terms are going down, they're going, oh man, that's getting close to me. Then Amazon Prime kind of knocking out all B-grade retail, and now coming into all the A-grade retail, getting a bit nervous there. Even Airbnb is kind of taking out some of the hospitality. So it's kind of moved from people looking for software like Re-Leased to give them a competitive advantage. We're now getting people coming to us going, okay, actually, can you guys help us out? Because we don't really know what to do, but I don't want to be the person that gets caught here being behind. So you guys look tech savvy, you guys can help us out. So we're seeing people now move out of fear as well, not just out of looking for a technical advantage. So it's quite a powerful shift for us anyway.
And Edward, before coming here, I was looking on our website, and the first mention of PropTech came in, I think, at the end of 2014, where I think we wrote a feature saying, what is PropTech and why should we all care? I think it's fair to say that the term fintech predates PropTech by quite a significant margin, and you're obviously from the financial services sector. Can you talk a little bit about kind of your journey at Xero and how technology has sort of disrupted the financial sector?
I think the starting point, the foundational piece, is that there's massive an analogy to be drawn between accounting and property management. And actually, hearing Paul's answer, dusty folders in rooms, having to travel to actually view data, is where accounting has come from. And Xero's really been part of disrupting the accounting market. We'll run an event next week called XeroCon. Think of Comic-Con, and our founder Rod Drury decided one day there's no reason we shouldn't have XeroCon since we have Comic-Con. We will have 3,000 accountants next week at the Excel Centre who pay to come and spend 2 days with us, where we talk about what's going on in the industry. There's lots of thought leadership that goes on, and you think, well, that doesn't sound very accountant-y, right? That doesn't sound like the kind of thing accountants do. It's 48% female. It's very, very forward-looking. And the point is that we are helping our accounting partners to just run much better businesses. So there are lots of great stories, either about people being much more efficient, and so rather than working with the dusty folders, kind of getting their Sunday afternoons back and their Friday evenings back because they're able to work much more effectively, through to actually enabling people just to build very, very different businesses. So moving beyond simply delivering compliance tax, making sure that small businesses pay enough tax, to a point where they can be advising small businesses on their growth, on their IT, on their HR, various aspects that they need. And from a financial services perspective, Xero has kind of become something of a fintech because there are so many adjacent areas to running your finances, whether it's making payments, getting paid more quickly. Actually, something that happened just last night, but it's now in the public domain, is that Xero is registered with the UK Financial Conduct Authority. So just necessarily we're having to move into that kind of fintech space. And we get to then work with a whole bunch of pretty cool companies who are similarly digitally disruptive, either in fintech or in things like kind of prop tech, but lots and lots of analogies.
And then just sort of looking ahead for a moment, next year we've got sort of lots to look forward to. Brexit for one, lots of challenges ahead. I don't know, Paul, how you think technology can maybe help in dealing with some of the challenges that the next couple of years bring, either in terms of new regulations that are out, or is there a tech solution to Brexit?
Yeah, funnily enough, we don't get that concerned about Brexit as a property investor because our underlying occupiers are not that concerned about it. The market in London is very, very strong, and supply. There aren't that many. If you look out the window now, there aren't that many cranes as there have been in the past. The pipeline is fairly fairly good as well in terms of from property perspective. Despite Brexit, things are coming along quite nicely. There's a bigger kind of macro change happening though that we're very conscious of. We talked about WeWork earlier, and it's just part of this general trend that as a company you must have an office or premises that are top notch, and having average accommodation is just not going to cut it anymore. And a few millennials in the audience, maybe even Generation K, I think we're going to call it. These are people who want to experience a day in the office, which is kind of cool and kind of great place to hang out in. My generation growing up was all about, actually, give me the cash and I'll take it, and don't really care what you're going to put me in, what cell you're going to put me in terms of office cell, that is. And so that is changing, and it changes the way that we have to think as landlords and investors about what sort of buildings are we going to produce. And we're right in the market now with a brand new building in Farringdon, and the first question you get from tenants is actually show me the bike store, show me how you get the bikes in the building and how you get them through from the street. Not very techy, but it is. You have to think about things like charging units in the accommodation and the showers so people can power up their devices and what have you. And ultra fast broadband is something that you must have. And in central London, I'm afraid that is really a sticking point for some. And we're an occupier as well. It took 3 months recently to get when we moved offices to get our broadband up to scratch, and that is just not good enough. So any brand new building now, you must have it pre-installed, and it must be ultra fast. And it's not good when in Waiheke Island, where I have a beach house, the broadband is faster there back in New Zealand than it is here in central London, and that is it's a UK issue that something needs to be done about.